Well, everyone, are you all keeping well? Did you hear? The $800,000 and house from my husband's inheritance, it's all become mine. I'm receiving everything. My sister-in-law, perhaps a bit excited from the alcohol, began bragging about it. However, the lawyers beside her looked puzzled and asked her,
"Excuse me, ma'am. What are you talking about? You didn't know anything about this?"
Didn't know what? Afterward, we were to learn a shocking truth. Olivia's story, 48-year-old woman. I am currently a regular housewife working part-time. I have a daughter in her 4th year of university and a son in his 2nd year of high school. And I have a brother named Victor. He, now 50 years old, met his wife 20 years younger than him on a dating app 6 years ago and married her. My brother, who runs a law firm and works as the lead lawyer, has been playing and having fun with our children since they were young. Especially my elder daughter, who greatly admired my brother, known as a skilled lawyer. In her 4th year of university, influenced by my brother, my daughter enrolled in the law school saying, "I want to be a lawyer like Uncle Victor," and diligently studied to become a lawyer. My brother was proud to hear that his niece was studying law at university to become a lawyer. He would spend time helping her study law and take her to his law office for a workplace visit.
"I'd be happy if you take over my office after you graduate and become a lawyer."
He always says something like this when meeting his niece. My brother, though married, had no children and seemed to want his niece to be his successor. On the other hand, my brother's wife is 20 years younger than him, a sulky woman with a strong personality who loves luxury brands. We hadn't met her since the wedding. Whenever Victor came over to our house, he never talked about his wife. Losing our father in childhood, my brother was like a father figure to me, even officiating at my wedding. At my brother's wedding, since he had officiated mine, I, in place of our mother, returned the favor. When I first heard that my brother was getting married to a woman whom he met on a dating app and was 20 years younger, I was surprised and anxious about whether it was okay for him. However, out of gratitude, I wished him happiness and blessed his marriage. I met his wife for the first time when my brother brought her to our house before their marriage. At first meeting, she said, "I'm Ashley. Oh my, you live more simply than I thought. Oh, I can't drink coffee, so give me iced tea." Ashley's words and arrogant attitude honestly left a terrible impression. After my brother and sister-in-law left, I, having a bad impression of my sister-in-law, asked my husband what he thought of her.
"Your brother, is he really okay marrying that person?"
My husband also felt the same as I did, wondering if marrying Ashley was really a good idea. At the wedding, Ashley surprised us by acting completely different in front of my mother, pretending to be someone she wasn't. In our presence, her attitude changed drastically, presenting herself with a smile and a seemingly demure impression. The newly-wed couple, my brother and his wife, built a new house and lived there just by themselves. To celebrate their marriage and new home, our family visited my brother's house. Given that my brother manages a prestigious law firm as its lead attorney, their new house was spectacularly lavish and impressive. However, when my brother greeted us at the door, Ashley was nowhere to be seen. That's when my husband jokingly asked my brother,
"Hey, Victor, has your bride already gone back to her parents' house, even though you're newlyweds?"
He intended it as a joke, but my brother didn't laugh, maintaining a stern expression instead. Seeing my husband's awkward face, I felt sorry for my brother. "Sorry, Victor. It was just a joke." Then Victor reluctantly told us about Ashley.
"Whenever something even slightly upsets her, she leaves the house and doesn't come back for days. She hasn't returned since yesterday, and I have no idea where she is or what she's doing."
After hearing this, my husband said apologetically,
"I had no idea something like this was happening. I'm truly sorry,"
looking quite downcast. Then Victor continued with a serious tone.
"Actually, I wanted to ask something. If we don't have children, would you consider letting one of yours be adopted by us?
My brother, despite being a newlywed, says something that we couldn't tell if it was a joke or not. A silence filled the air, with no one able to respond. Later, my husband, thinking my brother wasn't serious, tried to lighten the mood.
Victor, you come up with funny ideas. Quite the lawyer. We'll think about it.
There was no further encounter with Ashley after that, but my brother continued to visit our house as usual. When my brother visits, we don't talk about Ashley, so I avoid bringing her up. 6 years have passed since my brother's marriage, and it feels like Ashley never existed. My daughter graduated from university and passed the bar exam, becoming the lawyer she dreamed of. When my brother came to celebrate my daughter's success, he brought up the adoption topic again. Initially, when my brother spoke of adoption, he was still a newlywed and it didn't seem urgent. But now, 6 years into his marriage and at 50 years old, he seemed earnest about adopting, which was evident from his expression.
I really want to adopt one of them as my child.
My husband, thinking it was another joke, replied slightly.
Well, our daughter just passed her bar exam and might work as a lawyer, so maybe she's a good choice.
Though my husband joked, we couldn't decide such a thing alone as it involved our children's lives. I was careful in considering this, but I was still concerned about Ashley. Are you serious about this? Do you know what your wife thinks?
I don't want to hear her name. She's irrelevant now.
We can't ignore this. It's a crucial discussion about our children's futures. If you're really considering adoption, your wife should be involved in the discussion, and the children should have a say. They're the ones who ultimately decide. After I said this, my brother left.
Hey, you don't think he was serious about the adoption thing, do you?
Yes, he seemed quite serious about it.
What? No way. It's out of the question. We can't even think about that about our kids, especially our daughter.
However, 2 months after that conversation, my brother collapsed and was rushed to the hospital. We received a call from his law firm about the incident. We hurried to the hospital where he was taken. The staff from his law firm was there, waiting with worried expressions. My brother had suffered a myocardial infarction while at work and was in critical condition, unconscious. When I arrived, only the staff from his law firm were there. Ashley had not yet appeared. The staff gradually left, and an hour later my husband and children also arrived, but Ashley never showed up. Since we didn't have Ashley's contact information, we tried calling my brother's house, but there was no response. Then, my son used a method previously taught by my brother to unlock his mobile phone and call Ashley. Hello, what is it? Oh, it's Olivia. It's been a while. Why are you calling from Victor's phone? My brother has been hospitalized. Ashley, where are you? Can you come to the hospital quickly? Really? Even over the phone, I could sense an air of glee in Ashley's voice. I informed Ashley about my brother's condition and the hospital's location. Yet she began talking in a cheerful voice again. Oh, is that so? But I can't come now, so Olivia, please take care of Victor for me, will you? She then abruptly hung up the phone. After that, we tried calling her several times, but couldn't reach her. My mother and I decided to take care of my brother, but his condition did not improve, and he remained unconscious. Ashley never visited the hospital and did not contact us at all. A week after my brother was admitted, we tried contacting Ashley again. Ashley answered my call with a delighted voice. How is Victor doing? Has he passed away? Ashley's tone suggested she was eagerly waiting for my brother to die. I asked her, He's not dead yet. Why haven't you come to the hospital even once? Ashley retorted, Well, he's unconscious, right? What's the point of me going there? Do you think my presence will wake him up? That's enough. Shocked by Ashley's words, I immediately hung up the phone. At that moment, I realized something. Perhaps there were underlying issues in Victor and Ashley's relationship that led him to ask about adopting our children. It's possible that, due to personality clashes with Ashley, having children was not an option. I had doubts when Victor and Ashley hastily married after meeting through a matching app, especially with the significant age difference. This incident made me feel there might have been more to their relationship than I knew. After returning home, I shared everything with my husband. I knew Victor was serious about the adoption since he's a sincere person, but I never thought it was such a desperate wish of his.
Yeah, Victor has no children, so if something unfortunate happens, all his inheritance would go to that sister-in-law of ours.
We understood that his urgency in talking about adoption during the celebration of our daughter's success was due to his illness and inheritance issues. But now it's too late to do anything about it. I sometimes think how things might have turned out differently if my brother had shared about his illness and inheritance plans with us. The night my brother spoke about adoption, after he left our house, I casually asked my children about it. Their responses were unexpected. I love Uncle so much, and I want to become a dependable lawyer like him. I admire him, but as the eldest daughter, I feel responsible for taking care of the parents who raised me. Thus, she refused to be adopted. On the other hand, my son was more positive, saying,
I love Uncle Victor, and unlike my sister, I don't feel that sense of responsibility, so maybe I could be his adopted son.
However, given the current situation, proceeding with an adoption seems impossible. I thought, it's regrettable, but there's nothing we can do. It was clear that Ashley was waiting for my brother's death to claim his inheritance. That's why I had no intention of giving her even a small amount of money, but my brother ultimately passed away without regaining consciousness. Reluctantly, I decided to call Ashley to inform her of my brother's death. She seemed to have been waiting for this news, answering the phone in a bright tone. My brother has passed away. We are arranging a funeral. Could we meet there? No way. I hate dealing with funeral arrangements and all the hassle. Just handle it yourselves and do as you wish. I thought, unbelievable, I can't forgive this heartless behavior. Appalled by her cold attitude, we proceeded with the funeral arrangements ourselves, and with the help of the staff from the law firm, we managed to conduct it successfully. The funeral was attended by many people, including my brother's colleagues, politicians, and CEOs, remembering Victor's admirable character and achievements. Especially, my son was moved.
My uncle was an amazing person. Maybe being adopted by him would have been good. I can't believe he had connections with all these famous people. He must have been really wealthy,
my son excitedly said. While I could understand my son's feelings, I also felt conflicted about Ashley receiving my brother's inheritance. My husband was concerned about the future of my brother's law firm. However, being involved in legal work, my brother had established a solid structure. His law firm, founded by him, was entrusted to people he trusted, ensuring its continued existence as a corporation. At the funeral, I served as the chief mourner on behalf of my mother, and many people questioned his wife's absence. Why isn't his wife attending?
Did something happen to her?
They asked. Ashley, known for her flamboyant presence and extravagant wedding, raised the eyebrows of many attendees by her no-show. I thought, why did my brother ever marry such a person? I couldn't help but think so now. I wish we had never crossed paths with someone who would coldly ignore her husband's funeral. The funeral was successfully completed with the support of the law firm's staff, so we invited them to my brother's house as a token of our gratitude and treated them to a meal. Thank you all for helping to send off my brother and for attending. He must have been happy to be surrounded by all of you. As I finished expressing my gratitude and everyone began their meal, Ashley appeared in her usual flashy attire, barely concealing her delight. She then began to boast. "Well, everyone, are you all keeping well? Did you hear? The $800,000 and house from my husband's inheritance, it's all become mine. I'm receiving everything." Ashley, perhaps a bit excited from the alcohol, began bragging about it. However, the lawyers beside her looked puzzled and asked her,
"Excuse me, ma'am. What are you talking about? You didn't know anything about this?"
"Didn't know what?"
"You can no longer call yourself the wife of the head. Did you forget that he wanted a divorce and filed a lawsuit before his death, resulting in a finalized divorce?"
"Huh? So what?" "What do you mean? Ashley, you were already divorced?" I was shocked to learn for the first time that Ashley and Victor were divorced. Ashley looked at us with a troubled expression and explained her situation brazenly. "That's wrong. I didn't want to divorce Victor, but he suddenly kept asking me to leave him, offering me as much money as I wanted. So I reluctantly agreed to the divorce."
"Please, stop with the lies. Your affair was the cause of the divorce, wasn't it? Victor had told us everything in case something happened. You're also being asked to pay compensation according to the prenup, right? Isn't that correct?"
"But since Victor is no longer in this world, isn't it unnecessary to pay now?" She tried to argue back, but being unfamiliar with the law, Ashley was quickly refuted.
"Compensation can be considered part of the inheritance. You need to pay it to Victor's mother."
With the divorce finalized between Ashley and Victor, it was clear that his mother would inherit his estate. Ashley had no choice but to accept this reality. Her face paled, and she showed a mix of surprise and confusion, opening and closing her mouth without saying a word, looking back at us. Hearing this, my mother spoke to Ashley with anger in her eyes.
"How dare you betray my son like that? You will pay the alimony in full. You can't escape the punishment for causing Victor so much pain."
"I won't take the inheritance, so can we forget about the compensation, please?"
"Forget about it? That's out of the question. You'll have to make amends for causing Victor suffering."
Upon hearing my mother's words, Ashley also stood silently in the spot, speechless. However, she then recalled something, smiling slyly. "Oh, that's right. The life insurance must still be there. I'm sure I'm the beneficiary." When Victor and Ashley married, he had named his wife Ashley as the beneficiary of his life insurance. But the lawyers refuted this too.
"The life insurance won't work either. Once the divorce was finalized, Victor must have changed the beneficiary."
I found my brother's life insurance policy among his belongings and checked it. According to the document, the beneficiary had been changed to our mother, not Ashley. Realizing she wouldn't receive anything, Ashley finally revealed her true feelings. "What a loss! I married him thinking he was a wealthy lawyer. To only get a small amount of money and now having to pay compensation, it's such a huge mistake." As I was about to counter Ashley's words, my mother spoke up.
"Victor marrying someone like you was truly unfortunate. He was always troubled by you. I knew about your affair because Victor consulted me. It was me who suggested he divorce you. I'm proud he divorced you in the end."
I never knew my brother consulted our mother about his troubles. He always just came to our house to play with the kids, so I had no idea he was suffering. Ashley fell silent at my mother's words and quickly left the house. Later, she started paying the compensation to my mother in installments, but that didn't last long. After the compensation payments stopped, Ashley disappeared. Months later, the law firm contacted me suddenly. Ashley had been arrested by the police. Having never worked properly, Ashley couldn't pay the compensation to my mother, so she decided to find another wealthy partner, using matchmaking apps to repeatedly marry and defraud them of money. One day, one of her fiancés filed a police report, leading to her arrest.
The news came that she's been arrested, so the compensation payments to your mother will be difficult for a while,
said the firm. My mother showed a relieved expression, knowing that Ashley was finally facing consequences. Currently, my daughter is working at Victor's law firm, building her career as a young lawyer. My son is still exploring his future career, but dreams of doing something great like my brother. I have come to respect my brother even more and have learned many lessons from the way he lived. Determined to live a fulfilling life for both myself and himself, I plan to continue walking towards a bright future, carrying on his legacy.